This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on? Trying to get my dumb bots working again. Oh, looks like it might be working. Let's see. Right now, it might work. We'll see. We'll see. Hold on. Come on, Streamlabs. Thank you, Lee D. And also, thank you to Zozo up there and Rita Schaefer. All right. Got a lot of cases to go over. I don't know, some updates, some just totally random ones that I found. I like doing those. One of the random ones turned into something. Well, it was like turned into something really ominous and kind of like it's probably solved. They just haven't solved it, so it's still listed as unsolved. Hey, Juju Positive, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Alright, so here we go. Oh, that's not what I was going to be looking at. Hold on, let me get this out of here. I'm going to put the... yeah, I've been dealing with the troll on Facebook all day. One of Harvey's minions. You know, they're really similar, really low reasoning ability. You know, they... it's really wild, really wild. Thank you, Norweeg. I don't know who sketch that was. Yeah, I had to block her though. She's nuts. Let's see. Alright. Thank you, Kentucky Shirt Guy. Alright, let me get to... I'm just going to get started here. So these are ones, some of these ones we went over just one night. We talked about this case. The booking photo was released of the mother accused in her son's death. Remember the individual who was, I guess it was this kid right here. They had done a drawing of him before, but let's see what this says.
All right, good afternoon. I stood up here last week announcing the reward the FBI was offering for the identification of our victim.
Yeah, remember there was a drawing and then somebody else thought it was her kid, but it turned out it wasn't.
I expressed that this child had the right to be referenced by his given name. and he deserved law enforcement's commitment to this investigation. While the outcome is heartbreaking, there's a sense of closure that Liam Houstead will no longer be referred to as a John Doe. This morning, arrest was made by FBI's Denver Rocky Mountain Safe Streets Task Force, which is made possible due to the coordinated effort between members of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the Las Vegas Criminal Apprehension Team, and the FBI Denver Field Office.
So there was just a young boy's body was found in Las Vegas, and they were trying to identify him since, I think, end of May. And they finally were able to identify him and then also arrest the mother. I think they should give her less time because she's pretty, though, don't you guys?
Different cities, FBI task forces may have different names in different cities, but their purpose is all the same.
Insert SARC mark.
It's standard practice for the FBI to assist our local law enforcement partners if we have a tool, a tactic, or a technique that will be of any use. And this investigation,
that's obviously a joke.
That we're able to assist.
You guys are crazy. You don't get that. You know?
We're very thankful for our strong working relationships within the Las Vegas Police Department, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and the law enforcement officers within this community. I do want to just extend my appreciation to the media for your cooperation and your assistance in getting out as much information as you possibly could in such a quick time frame, and also to thank the public for their commitment and for their assistance in us getting to a resolution.
So at this point, I'll take some questions if you do.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if COVID or something has made it so that more kids are dying. You know, it used to be where there was a reprieve where, you know, you got these kids that are between the age of, I don't know, 7 and maybe even 4, 5 and 18, and they got to go, they were at school, right? And the parents would go to work. But now they had to stay at home and teach the kids, and they're there every second of every single day. So you sort of wonder if that has played a role in the huge number, the increase that it seems like of kids dying. You know, so there's these weird, it's not an excuse, I'm just saying these are the people that shouldn't have had kids anyways, but now they're being exposed because they're having to spend, God forbid, some time with their kids, right?
You have them.
Any information on the arrest? Was it a tip, and was it 6 a.m. local time here? Or?
Right, suicides, all kinds.
It was around 6 o'clock local time, give or take a few minutes this morning. I'm not going to get into the investigative tactics that were utilized by the apprehension team in Denver, but it was solely on the work that the FBI task force there did that led to the arrest. Or go ahead.
Obviously, you guys have been working on this case really hard for the past 2 or so weeks. How significant is solving this case for you and your detectives?
Well, like I said, you know, the entire department, specifically,
all of a sudden I felt like I was going to hiccup.
It's emotionally draining working a case like this. Being able to have closure and identify Liam was very important, and now that we're able to make an arrest on this case is extremely gratifying. In the back.
Last we heard she was seen on the 31st at a hotel in Denver. A lot of times passed since then. Do you get a sense of what she was doing in Denver? Was she still bouncing around the hotels? Any idea why she chose Denver?
Doesn't sound like they're going to answer a lot.
We don't know why she was in Denver. I know, like I said, we had.
Anyways, I don't want to watch the whole thing, but an arrest was made, so good. There's going to be justice in that case. All right, now we've got a crazy, I can't remember who sent it to me, it was an email with this guy here. He's in England. Colin Pitchfork, double schoolgirl murder can be released. A double child killer who was the first murderer to be convicted using DNA evidence can be released, the parole board has confirmed. Colin Pitchfork, 61, was jailed for life for raping and murdering 15-year-olds Linda Mann and Dawn Ashworth in Leicestershire in the 1980s. Pitchfork has spent 33 years in prison. He was last denied parole in 2018. The parole board said it was satisfied that Pitchfork was suitable for release which is subject to conditions. Parole reviews are undertaken thoroughly and with extreme care. Protecting the public is our number one priority. I listen, I understand. Let this guy live at your house for the first year and then let him out, okay? The decision is provisional for 21 days. In a document explaining its decision, the parole board said, at the time of the offenses, Pitchfork had been someone who thought about sex a lot and used violence and excessive force and sex to demonstrated power and control over women. Okay, you guys are morons. Yeah, that's exactly right. He's a freaking, like a sexual maniac serial killer. I mean, listen. He also struggled to cope with anger, loneliness, and had a willingness to seek revenge. See, this is what you get in these, like, you know, really hard left places. Just totally, you know, we have to believe in redemption. No way, man. This guy should be locked up for forever. That's what he got. Life in prison, okay? But in prison, the parole board said he had taken part in several courses. Oh, well, yo, listen, he took some courses. I'll tell you what, man, let's just take every serial killer that's out there. I mean, I wish Dahmer was still alive. I would just give him a couple courses, and as long as he said that he wasn't as angry anymore, we'd just let him back out on the streets. Anyways, but in prison, the parole board said he had taken part in several courses to address his behavior, and the panel heard Pitchfork's. That's his real name, huh? God, what kind of a dumbass name is that? Jesus. Man, if you were born with that, wouldn't you just change it? Pitchfork? God. Behaviors in custody had been positive. So in custody, his behaviors were positive and had included extensive efforts to help others, including learning skills to help disabled people. I mean, this guy is incredible, right? Yeah, get rid of that. I wish we could figure out a way to find that channel there, right there. All right, see that troll that came in here? It made an account looking exactly like mine, breaking all of YouTube's rules, but of course, right after they get removed, they switch it back. I haven't been watching any of them. I'm doing a show. My crimes will never be solved. Yeah, I don't really care that much. Okay, just, you know, if you see him, remove it. All right, I got to do a show. That's what you guys are in there for. I just saw it. So it says, let me just do that part again. But in prison, the parole board said he had taken part in several courses to address his behavior, and the panel heard Pitchfork's behavior in custody had been positive and had included extensive efforts to help others. You know what? Including learning skills to help disabled people. I mean, this guy should be anointed. The panel concluded, after considering the circumstances of his offending, the progress made while in custody, and the evidence presented at the hearing, and the panel was satisfied that Mr. Pitchfork was suitable for release. Awesome. Hey, look at that. One of my Streamlabs bots came in. Are my other ones working? Let's see. Right. A source close to Justice Secretary Robert Buckland said the government would take legal advice to explore the use of reconsideration mechanism. The parole board reconsideration mechanism introduced in 2019 gives people the right to ask for a decision to be looked at again if they believe it was procedurally unfair or irrational. But notice this term, procedurally unfair, right? Let's see. Even though 30 years have passed, this isn't the sort of crime one can ever forget, he said. My constituents remember the victims, people who went to school with these victims. Listen, you should never be back out on the streets ever again after doing what he did. They're not redeemable, okay? God, my Streamlabs thing turns into like a spammer almost. The judges and other experts who make up the parole board can only authorize lifers' release on license if the evidence shows that it's no longer necessary to hold the offender. The families can petition the Justice Secretary, Robert Buckland, to ask the parole board to think again. But a review would have to show that it would be irrational to release Pitchfork on the available evidence. Mr. Buckland cannot overturn the decision because of political or media pressure. See, that's what I'm saying. I told you that phrase up above. There, it goes back to procedurally unfair. Ah, God, what a joke. Jesus. You should be ashamed of yourselves, you know. Well, what's prison for then if there isn't a chance? Well, listen. Yeah, I get it. You know, you rob a bank, you do these things. But you murdered two 15-year-old kids who will never get to live again, and you get to go out at 61 and probably have another 20-something years of enjoying your life. Ridiculous.
Neighbors say there were weekly screaming matches between Xavier Harrelson and his mom, Sarah.
Her son was reported missing 6 days ago. KCRG TV9's Ethan Stein is live at the Spruce Village Trailer Park where Xavier was last seen and tells us more about the role that he plays in his mother's life. Ethan?
Thank you, Muse.
Nicole Beth, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, clarified that it was a neighbor, not the mother, who originally reported Xavier Harrelson missing. Neighbors say they heard the missing 11-year-old boy and his mom argue often in the home where only two people live there on the back trailer of trailer number 8. Police dogs searched their home again yesterday. They also searched the whole mobile home community as well. We spoke with the person who reported Xavier missing. She knows Xavier's mom, Sarah. She says the mom is an amputee who has trouble putting on her prosthetic.
Yeah, let me ask you something though. If she's an amputee, how would she have had something to do with it? His disappearance, man, that'd be brutal. Trying to, you know, carry a kid around and let's see. I'm just trying to, I think I found that trailer park here. I think it's even this unit right there. It's just little, this is older. This is from 2015. But that's right where the pin was, given their specific address.
They heard the missing 11-year-old boy and his mom argue often in the home where only two people live there on the back trailer of trailer number 8. Police dogs searched their home again yesterday. They also searched the whole mobile home community as well. We spoke with the person who reported Xavier missing. She knows Xavier's mom, Sarah. She says the mom is an amputee who has trouble putting on her prosthetic leg. That means her 11-year-old son acted as her caretaker.
Things that she can't do, he helps with, you know, and Xavier knows that. And he knows that, you know, he's not just her son, that he's her other leg.
Rick says Xavier was close with his mom. She says the relationship was full with plenty of love. However, at the same time, neighbors say the yelling was sometimes so significant that Xavier would sometimes try to go to another trailer in the mobile home park community to try to get away. We did ask DCI if they were aware of the situation. They did say they were aware of the situation at home, but could not confirm or deny any specific information. Live.
Yeah, so it's still missing. You know, it's just kind of hard to think that the mom did something and then moved him somewhere. He might have just left because he was upset, and then you know, something happened to him out there. And if at that point some random pedophile type individual got him, well, then it's, you know, it's a nightmare at that point. There's almost no way of figuring out the answer to what happened. Did he have something like, was he autistic in some way? Yeah, he's 4'8" and 100 pounds, so it's not like he's huge or anything. I haven't really been following this one that much, but I saw that there was an update about how neighbors have been hearing yelling and fighting going on in that house. Okay. Okay, we've got a... Remember the Sarah Everard case in UK? The one where she was kind of just walking... Looks like she was walking home, going to take a bus or something, and an officer picked her up and... you know, he killed her. It's weird though, because today he didn't admit to the killing. I'm not even sure why it's... He admitted to kidnapping and rape. Okay? So I hope they're not going to just sort of go, yeah, that's enough, you know? We can't really prove that you murdered her, so we'll give you some sentences based on that. I don't really understand it's cool that he admitted that part yet, but until he admits to the murder, then it's, to me, it's just useless. Who cares that he admitted to kidnap and rape? A few months after a London woman, Sarah Everard, was murdered, a police officer has confessed to kidnapping and raping the 33-year-old. Wayne Cousins, a 48-year-old officer with the Met Police, he probably keeps admitting to things that they can prove. But he's probably saying, well, after I raped her, I left her there. Somebody else must have done it. I mean, how many times do you hear people use crap like that? Cousins was earlier accused of raping and murdering the 33-year-old and was scheduled to enter a plea next month. All right, well, that was all the news there was on that, but it's like, okay, cool. You know, you murdered her, so hopefully you'll say that too, but we already knew that you raped and kidnapped her. But now you're admitting that, so now you're only left with one more thing that you might have to admit to. Okay, this one here is pretty interesting.
This morning, the man who knew both the socialite and the top cop who authorities say was shot to death in Belize, speaking out.
It was unbelievable.
Jean Lopez says 38-year-old Jasmine Hartin, accused of manslaughter in police officer Henry Jamont's death, stopped by his restaurant Crazy Horse once or twice a month.
We have never had any bad experience with her here at Crazy House. Whenever she comes here, she is always decent.
Officials say Hartin, who is connected to one of the wealthiest families in the UK, was friends with Superintendent Jamont, the two getting together for drinks at a pier one night last month. But what still remains unclear is what took place before the socialite was reportedly found with what appeared to be blood on her and Jamont's body discovered in the water nearby. His family sharing his death certificate to ABC News. In it, the medical examiner stating he died of a gunshot wound to the head. Now they say they're pursuing a wrongful death lawsuit.
He was a loving, caring, friendly soul. My brother loved life, loved people.
Yeah, see, these are two really rich people that wanted to, you know, they're moving to Belize to start up like a resort. And she was meeting with this guy. I guess they were friends, and somehow he gets shot in the back of the head. It's just really bizarre, right? The Supreme Court of Belize was denied bail for a longtime partner of a British billionaire's son who's been charged in the fatal shooting of a top police officer in the Central American country. A judge decided Wednesday to reject a bail application for Jasmine Hartin and adjourn the matter until next week, after Belize's head prosecutor submitted an objection to the court on the grounds that she presented a serious flight risk. The judge has requested that prosecutors submit a formal objection with full arguments by Friday, while the defense team has until Monday to respond. The next bail hearing is scheduled for June 9th. Now, let's see. Okay, the charges stem from the death of Henry Jamot, superintendent of the police department, whose body was discovered early Friday in the water of San Pedro Pier. All right, let's see what I got. Belize up on the map over here. Port San Pedro Pier. How about we'll just do San Pedro. Yeah. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. Port of Belize, Port of Belize. I thought maybe it was one of those, but alright, well, anyways, let's keep going. While with one apparent gunshot wound behind his ear, the injury is not consistent with suicide, and the manner of death is homicide. Hartin was somewhat in an emotional state, walking herself on the pier, when police found her near Jamot's body with what appears to be blood on her arms and her clothing. We believe that she is to some extent affected by it. Police recovered Jamot's service weapon from the scene. The incident seems rather personal and not on an attack on law enforcement. Investigators believe the pair were friends and had been drinking. They were alone together on the pier and were both found fully clothed. We owe it to him to ensure that we investigate it properly. Hartin is the director of lifestyle and experience in Belize, a boutique resort in San Pedro. Here, let me see if that's something that can be. I see like that little thing that jets out over there. That's the airport. Andrew Ashcroft is the youngest son of Lord Michael Ashcroft, a major financial backer of the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom. Police Commissioner said the Canadian socialite will receive no special treatment. Seems like it was just, I don't know, it's weird. How does that happen? You know? How does she end up with the gun in her hand shooting him in the back of the head? Was there, you know, you start envisioning things like, was there an extortion attempt? You know, maybe he was like, hey, listen, I'm going to try to, I'll look the other way. You know, I don't know. Like, I'll do something for you if, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know how she ends up with a gun in her hand and shoots him in the back of the head. Yeah, well, it could be that something went very wrong there personally with them. You know, maybe he tried something on her or something, and I don't know. Or maybe he said he was going to crack down on something they didn't want to have cracked down on. But man, it doesn't seem like she doesn't seem like the type of person that would do something like that. It's a pretty weird one, though, right? I mean, just off of a pier. Here, let me check something out here. See, that's her right there. It's hard to picture her pulling out a gun and shooting somebody. I mean, I know looks aren't everything, but you know, she's really rich and just doesn't make a lot of sense. That's her in jail, I guess, right there. Yeah, it doesn't look like she ever took drugs. But see, that's the guy that got killed right there. And they were friends, and they were hanging out on a pier. Yeah, it just doesn't, it's so weird. How does he get shot in the head? Was it, I don't know why she had it in her hand. Does she admit to having it in her hands? Let's see. Sources say Mr. Jemmett, a friend of the couple who was off duty but carrying his gun, suggested Miss Hartin get one for herself, and they examined his Glock pistol. The firearm, which some regard as being light on safety features, accidentally went off while she was handing it back to him and shot him in the back of the head. But I mean, you're handing it back to him from behind? I mean, that sounds like there was other people. Did other people see this? Sources say a friend of the couple who was off duty but carrying his gun. Okay, so that's her story to them. Yeah. Now, so manslaughter by negligence is the least serious charge she could have been handed over. I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, if it's an accident, it's an accident. It's not really. I wouldn't call it negligence. It's like you're not a gun expert. The person who was negligent would be the officer for letting somebody who's not a gun aficionado hold the gun. That's what I would think. Hey, thank you, Pink Lady Luck. And yes, everybody, this channel is monetized, and all of the super chats, the ad revenue, and channel memberships at the end of the month, you guys are supporting my channel, and at the same time, I send in a large portion, and it's a large portion, not a tiny one, to charities at the end of the month. All right? So just know that while you're helping me out, it also is going to help out a lot of important charities like National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, RAIN, and we're also building up a DNA fund right now. So some people go, oh, wow, well, why don't you give every single nickel? Well, because I have to be able to justify doing a show for 6 or 7 hours a day of putting stuff together, like putting everything together and then doing a 3-hour show. Okay? That's just the reality of it. All right? And so it's a little bit nerve-wracking, too, because I can tell that based on some nights, like tonight seems like it's one of those, it would be one of those things where you just go, wow, I don't even know if I could. If you ever were going to switch over to full-time, it doesn't seem doable, because there's nights where you put in a ton of work and it sounds like this. It's like the Pac-Man death sound. Hey, thank you, Kit Kat. Taco Tuesday, huh? All right. So what do you guys think about this one? It's weird that they're there starting up this whole resort, and then she's hanging out with sort of the head police officer guy. Hey, thank you, Juju Positive. Hanging out with the head cop, which there would be some sort of benefit for being friends with the local head cop, so that you could sort of, they're going to look the other way on certain things. And then you're together on a pier, and somehow he says, yeah, you should get one of these guns, check it out. And she's handing it back to him from behind, and the gun goes off. I mean, I guess that's possible. Like, he handed it to her, and he was just kind of, he wasn't nervous about it or something, and something went haywire and it shot. But it's just, I mean, what are the odds of that? Sometimes the weird things do happen. Thank you, Dana Dane. I know it's difficult. We're in these crazy times, and everybody doesn't have funds. I only want you to help me out if it's something that's not going to affect your life. Okay? That's it. If it's affecting your life, sending in contributions to help my channel and charities, then that's, don't do it. Just hang out, watch the shows, and comment, and do whatever else you're doing. All right? Okay. Yeah, I'd have to kind of see how they were, for definitely. I have no idea. It's just a pier they were hanging out on, and then he gets shot in the back of the head behind the ear. Definitely not a suicide place that somebody would shoot themselves by themselves. So obviously now she's even admitting that he didn't do it. Apparently, it's sources say Mr. Jamat, a friend of the couple, who was the off-duty but carrying his gun, suggested Miss Hartin get one for herself, and they examined his Glock pistol, so they were kind of looking at it. And the firearm, which some regard as being light on safety features, accidentally went off while she was handing it back to him and shot him in the back of the head. A local expatriate, Eric Tachman, in fact demonstrated to me how it could happen, producing his own handgun and explaining how a tipsy Mr. Jamat 42 might have cleared his gun's chamber of a round before handing it to Miss Hartin, but forgotten to take out the magazine. Oh, I see. Meaning that another bullet had automatically been fed into the chamber. Prosecutors have not charged Miss Hartin with manslaughter with negligence yet. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Look at the quarter horse. It said boom. Right, Cairo? It said boom. You don't want to do this, man. You know, one of those quarter horse. Let me ask you something, Cairo. Why does that line bother you so much? Okay. I mean, you that's one of those ones that just sticks with you. Almost like he was trying to just sort of change the topic, like, hey, you know what? Let's talk about quarter horses now. Right? It said boom. Yeah, it's just weird. It's that one line, though, that really bugs you. What about the quarter horse? Oh, yeah. Anyways, thank you for the super chats. I don't like the word when it says streamlabs. I got to get that changed where it can say something else. Hey, look at that! Jennifer sent me to the beach. How about at 9 o'clock? I'll go to the beach. All right. 20 minutes. We can get. I don't want to keep talking about this one that much. These are just the ones in the news, so we might be able to get some more information on that. Oh, that looks the same. Oh wait, those. But the one up above is my personal island image that I made as one of the emojis. Okay, so this next one, I think. I don't know. I'm just going to do this John Pennington one. I mean, this case here will never be talked about. Really, there was almost no newspaper articles whatsoever. And how about this? After I cover this one, I'll go take my vacation because I'll need one. Alright, so I was able to find a couple articles not using newspapers.com, but this other one. So it says, and this is him right here, 1985. Just looks like almost looks like he could be one of my relatives, actually. You know, same sort of skin tone and but yeah. Looks like a hybrid between my bio dad and somebody else. Let's see. A man, two. Okay, for a second there, it wasn't buffering. I don't know, man. Okay, well, right now it's not buffering on my. How about now? Okay, now it's buffering again. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with my end here. Tube deal. Because it's just like that other time. Oh, no. Shit. Crap. I'm gonna try it again. Okay, I just tried connecting again. I don't see any buffering now. Is it working? I don't even know what that means, Catherine. So right now it looks like it's okay. All I did was stop the stream and start it up. Stop it, start it, stop it, start it. And it seems to be okay now. Alright, anyways, alright. Okay, anyways, let's see. A West Side real estate salesman was stabbed to death, and another man was critically wounded early Sunday by a man in a Taco Bell restaurant. The Franklin County Sheriff's Department said only that the men were stabbed in an altercation at the Taco Bell at, let's see, at 3591 West Broad Street in Columbus, Ohio. Doesn't look like we're buffering. And that looks like that could probably be a Taco Bell right there. Yeah. So crazy, right? Just like right in that damn drive-thru right there. And Taco Bell's never change. You could have a Taco Bell from 1825 and it would still be sitting there. Yeah, right there. So in this line right here was where this took place. Deputies said they were trying to find a woman who was in another car at the restaurant. The woman may have witnessed the stabbing. Pennington's wife, Peggy, said she had been told by sheriff deputies her husband was a passenger in a car at the restaurant's drive-through lane when he was attacked by an unidentified man from the car ahead of them. The man had a knife. See, that's weird in front of them, right? Because you would think it would be behind, like somebody was following somebody. But it was somebody in front of him. The man had a knife, she said, she was told. There were 4 other people in the car with her husband. Pennington, a sales agent with Heart of Ohio Realty Incorporated, 2817, blah, 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 blah. A neighbor, Arthur Stevens, of 3695 Hallowcrest Avenue, said Pennington was a popular man on the block. All the kids loved him. He was a hard-working guy at home, and he was very involved in the church, Stevens said. He said he purchased his home from Hart Realty about 6 years ago. Stevens said his daughter, Julie, has been a frequent babysitter for the Penningtons' preschool-age daughter and would often attend church services with the Penningtons. Now, what a weird one to just be cold for so long. I mean, so there was just some random psycho killer in front of you. The reason this story is crazy is just because look how random this one is. Or at least random seeming. But anyways, it says right here, a group of men who had been at a bachelor party might have provoked a fight in which one of them was stabbed to death and another seriously injured early Sunday at a West Broad fast food restaurant, which was a Taco Bell. Chief Deputy Charles Cotton of the Franklin County Sheriff's Department said one of 5 men in a car threw something at another car. Oh, there you go. So it's kind of a road rage thing. In a drive-through lane at the Taco Bell at 3591 West Broad Street. Thank you, Michelle Nicholas. The driver of the second car stepped out and shattered a passenger side window of the first car with his fist. Okay, let me think. The driver of the second car had been at a bachelor party, might have provoked a fight, which one of them stabbed to death and another said one of 5 men in a car threw something at another car in a drive-thru. The driver of the second car stepped out. I'd like to know who was in the front or behind. The driver of the second car stepped out and shattered a passenger side window of the first car with his fist, Cotton said. That man carried a knife, Cotton said. 3 men got out of the first car, so that's the one that threw something, and a fight ensued. See, I was wondering how he got stabbed to death inside the car, but apparently they got out. John Pennington, 26, was fatally stabbed in the abdomen. Man, that's brutal. Richard Luby, 25, West Jefferson, is in critical condition at Doctors Hospital West with a stab wound in his chest. John Hart, 23, of Galloway, Ohio, was treated at Doctors Hospital West for minor injuries. 2 other passengers, including the prospective groom, were not involved, and deputies declined to identify them. Cotton said there were about 10 witnesses to the stabbing, but few could give detailed description of a knife wielder who used a large hunting knife. Man, they just, you know, probably threw something at the wrong person that day at the wrong time. And you know, that the person who did this is obviously a very violent, sick human, if you can call him that. And I guarantee it, I wouldn't be shocked at all if that person has killed other people before or after that incident, because you know, you just get provoked so little like that. You throw something, then you come over and break the car, then they come out, and then you have a knife, and then you start attacking and attacking and attacking with a knife, and you kill one, almost kill another, and somebody else gets wounded. Wow. All right, so hold on a second. I'll be back just a second. Yep. Yeah. It just shows you how quickly things can go south. You know, and they were probably all drunk and thinking, oh, yeah, well, you know, let's get out of this car. And the other guy wasn't drunk at all. He was just a psycho ready to kill some people. And he just threw something at the wrong car. Yeah, does seem kind of weird that nobody knows who the hell it was. All right. Well, now I'm going on my beach trip. After I got through that story. Ah, yeah, there we go. Today it's more of a dark blue, you know. No, I gotta turn down the other music though. Sounds weird together. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you're out there, Sarah Beth Colagras, but I went back over to Streamlabs OBS and to use that, and they got rid of their freaking face masks. I couldn't believe it. I spent like an hour trying to figure out where they were, and I read that they got rid of it. Why would you do that? Thank you, Play-Doh. I thought that would have been cool to do face masks on a beach. And you can put like snorkels and wait. Oh well. And this one story that I came across was just totally weird. John Pennington. Okay, I got the next one. Hey, thank you, Lanky Tour, Baby Brown Bear Cub, Almighty. But I just think Lanky Tour, okay? Goal! Oh yeah, I'll get some sunscreen. Thank you, Amber Maiden. It sounds like I might hear something the next couple days in the Cindy Powers case from the that's one. You know what would be really cool to do someday is to find a case and then marry that case with Colin Fitzpatrick, and then that leads to solving it. Like, this would be a perfect one for that. Here's this case from 1982 of a Denny's employee who went to work. It almost seems like she made it all the way to work, but it gets abducted before entering the building. And then her body's found 3/4 of a mile from the building. And apparently there was maybe a sexual assault because they have DNA, apparently. But they weren't able to find any matches back then. But it's a whole different ballgame right now. Whole different ballgame. So if they still have anything like that, then we can somehow, if I can speak to the family members and then maybe sort of figure out, because one of the family members is in contact with one of the detectives, and if we could somehow maybe have a meeting and then get Colleen in on that call, oh man, then we're boom, right? That'd be pretty amazing. And I'd even say, listen, I'll pay for the genealogy. I would definitely do it. Whatever, I mean, if I have to dig deep into the PayPal account, sure. Thank you, Catherine B. That's such a weird one. See, a lot of these cases are so... It just makes you realize how fragile everything is. Hey, Tawanda. Like, you're just walking around. You're just going to go to work. You're just at a Taco Bell drive-thru. But there's psychos in the world. You know, there was one time I was playing basketball at this park. And, you know, I got a little physical. Everybody started getting a little... And there's this one guy, he just seemed a little off. And there was a certain point where, like, he got out, like, I can't remember what it was. He looked like he was really gonna go psycho. And I don't know. Somehow there was other people there and it got broken up. But I was always wondering, man, what if it was just like me there and a couple people? And that guy might have just, because he was really big guy, like a sinewy, creepy, you know? Thank you, Tawanda, for the, what are those? Maybe I had a pina colada, right? Yeah, he seemed like he'd already snapped. There was this other guy, though, that I work with that likes to fight, and he came running down the hill and jumped in there. I was just like, what's going on? I'm just playing basketball. I wasn't even, I wasn't even thinking about it. So, thank God, huh? No, it really was creepy. He seemed like something was off with him to begin with. For Mary Lou?
Hey, thanks, man. Where do I buy it?
I don't know where you buy it.
Gosh, Gray, you could be a little more helpful, couldn't you?
Well, I don't know where to buy hula skirts, Mary Lou.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it sure does. That's why I said it. Wow. Mary Lou, I tell you, she's... I don't know if they still make those wine coolers. What were those called? They had like a... What was the brand that everybody bought? The... I can't remember. Coconut bra. Oh yeah, Bartles and James. There you go. Yeah, there was Seagram's, Bartles and James. I think that was sort of the big one. They always made me sort of sick. You know, if we were gonna do like a party pre-funk, what we would get is OE8, Old English 800, and then we pour it into these huge beer stein mug things, and I'd pour it back and forth until it was decarbonated. You know, remember this is when I'm like 20 years old, okay? And then we'd play No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys. Yeah. And then it would do the whole thing, and as soon as there was a certain part of the music where we just pound as much as we could and then stop and then wait for the beat to come up again and try to finish that, and then we go to the parties, right? You know, when I was living in the dorms, we used to sneak into fraternity parties. Because I transferred from U of O to Oregon State, and I lived in a dorm at Oregon State. I was in a fraternity at U of O, but I didn't try to reaffiliate over there at Oregon State. So we just go to these random parties. And you know what actually works, you know, and to get into those things? Like you have these people that are all drunk at the door, right? So all you have to do is walk up and say something like, hey, this guy said before I could come in that it was okay to come in before the time the guy said it after that. You know, but they're so drunk, they're like, yeah, I don't know. It looks like I just came back just now. Oh my. Okay, am I here now? Okay, anyways, I think I'm back here. It just sits there, buffering, and then it connects again. It's weird. Anyways, hey, good night, Pink Lady Luck. Thank you for your super chat earlier. Appreciate it. Yeah, so you don't have to leave. You don't go, oh, I gotta go. I mean, the amount of people with literal, I don't know if you call it ADD or whatever. It's like as soon as there's a buffer, they're out of here. Okay, just wait a second. I'm working on it. I'll come back. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, no patience. Yeah, right. Okay. All right, good night. All right, so anyways, I'm going to switch over now and do some more. There we go. Yeah, it's like zero patience, I think, is the term. Yeah, because whenever there's buffering, it's never the fault of the streamer. Okay, I've got a ridiculous broadband. You know, it's a gigabyte download, 40 megs a second upload. It's really like ludicrously fast. So it's always going to be YouTube. Yeah, maybe the island had bad Wi-Fi. You're right about that. Okay, so this is a case, really bizarre one, from June 5th, 2019. I had never heard of it until today. And so this is, I did the same thing I normally do. I put them in order by date. So the parents of Carnell Sledge, the 40-year-old man, shot dead in Cleveland Metro Park's Rocky River Reservation Tuesday, did not know the 33-year-old woman who was killed along with him. So his parents did not know her. And so there, let me just show you where this is. I've got this mapped out. It took me a while to find it, but yeah, it's right here, right at this. I mean, here's the crazy part. These two people were killed, shot in the head, and now there's a whole bunch of people at this park. But you can actually, if you go right over here, right there, they were both shot in the head while sitting on that bench right there. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to say if they were dating. It sounds like they just maybe were good friends for a long time. Let's see. So that, according to Beverly Perry, a cousin of Sledge's grandmother. Perry told Cleveland.com Thursday that police went to the home of Carl and Darlene Sledge, the parents of Carnell Sledge, in Bedford at 2 a.m. Wednesday to notify them of their son's death. Perry said detectives showed Carl Sledge a picture of Catherine Brown, 33, of Fairview Park, but he didn't recognize her. No one knew her, Perry said. The parents live in Bedford, where Carnell Sledge grew up and went to Bedford High School. Perry said Carnell Sledge was not married and did not have any children. He's been a working young man and a very ambitious young man. Hours before his violent death, Carnell Sledge spoke to co-workers at Cleveland-based Crescent Digital and showed no signs of distress. See, I think it's possible he was dating this person secretly. He's a black man and she's a white woman. I'm just throwing it out there because you'll see pictures of him in a minute. But you sort of wonder if there was a boyfriend of hers, or heck, it could be an ex-girlfriend of his. And I don't know if there's a racial component to it. It's just maybe they were seeing each other because nobody seems to know. It's like a secret relationship that maybe somebody else knew about it. Keith Calley, who was in charge of human resources and finance at Crescent Digital, recalled speaking with Sledge in the middle of the day on Tuesday about an expense report and that he demonstrated no unusual behavior. Calley said Sledge, who was an audio-visual technician, would have left work that day sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. Sledge's body, that of Catherine Brown, 33, were reported found at 5:22 p.m. So the shooting was probably right around that time. Probably after work or something like that. In Cleveland Metro Park's Rocky River Reservation, just north of the Lorraine Road Bridge. That's actually how I was able to find the spot, because I saw some helicopter footage, and that's that bridge that they're talking about. There's Lorraine Avenue. There's the bridge, and then I was able to line that up right there. I'll even show you here in a second. Yeah, so see that? I mean, everything looks the same. Hell, even the shadows. Look how crazy that is. Like Google Earth's shadow right there matches that absolutely perfectly. There's that bush and that bush. And look at that right there, whatever that is, right there, right here, right there. So, absolutely the same spot. That was weird. The shadow matched perfectly. Probably taken at exactly the same time of day. Alright. And now this is just June 24th, so 2 weeks after that. FBI and Metro Parks officials are asking once again for the public's assistance in the Rocky River Reservation double homicide that occurred earlier this month. In a press conference on Monday afternoon, Metro Parks Chief Ranger Catherine Dolan and FBI Special Agent in Charge Eric Smith followed up on the FBI offer of a $20,000 reward for information with public plea to anyone who knows anything about the June 4th killing of Carnell Sledge and Catherine Brown. Sledge 40 and Brown 33 were found at about 5:22 on June 4th in the Rocky River Reservation north of Lorraine Road Bridge, east of Valley Parkway. Brown was found in the water with a single gunshot wound to her head. So I bet you he was shot first, and she heard it and just started to kind of get up and then was shot and then tumbled into the water. The final moments. On Monday, officials said the two had been friends. Wow, the two had been friends for 10 years. So they knew each other for 10 years, but his family didn't know about her, I guess. It was common for them to fraternize together, and they were not believed to be romantically involved. They arrived in separate vehicles at approximately 5:04 p.m. to the pull-off lot north of Lorraine Bridge. They exited their vehicles. Yeah, so that means, yeah, they would have pulled off right into here. The pull-off lot north of Lorraine Bridge, they exited their vehicles and sat on the park bench along the river. Within minutes of their arrival, they were shot in the head. It's like somebody was following one of the other ones, I would imagine. Sometime between 5:08 and 5:15 p.m. And then two kayakers pulled into the Lorraine Road lot within minutes at approximately 5:18 and observed the victims. They immediately called 911. The area known as the pull-off lot is highly trafficked. Numerous joggers, walkers, kayakers, and vehicles cut through the area. I mean, what's amazing is how brazen that is, because there could have been tons of people there that time of day, right? Especially in June, right around the time you get off of work. It's crazy. I do have a press conference right here. Short.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Kind of quiet.
On June 4th, 2019, at approximately 5:22 p.m., the Cleveland Metro Parks Police received a report of two deceased individuals in the Rocky River Reservation. Responding officers located Carnell Sledge, a 40-year-old male, and Catherine Brown, a 33-year-old female, north of the Lorraine Road Bridge, east of Valley Parkway. Cleveland Metro Parks Detective Bureau is leading the homicide investigation and has received support from the Bureau of Criminal Investigations as well as the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. Currently, we believe this to be an isolated incident, and overall, the safety of the parks is not in question. Our thoughts are with the victims' families, and we will work as hard as possible to conduct a thorough investigation to bring justice for the families of Catherine Brown and Carnell Sledge. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County at 216-252-7463. Again, that number is 216-252-7463. A cash reward may be available and the callers may remain anonymous.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think he was shot first because he might have been the target. So they should probably look at somebody that maybe... There's probably somebody out there that is really interested in her. Maybe she didn't even know it. And then he thought that they were dating and making it so that they couldn't be together. Maybe they were romantically involved. They just didn't tell anybody. Because why, you're meeting at a park together, sitting on a sort of a love seat on a... I mean, it seems to me like if you were going to hang out with somebody as a buddy like that, you'd probably go to a bar and have a couple drinks or whatever, and they could be talking to anybody and it wouldn't bother you. But you're sort of at a nice little scenic place on a stream on sort of a little tiny bench for just two people. I don't know. That's how I look at it. And look, it's right next to the water. So, look how small it is. They're looking at it. Somebody comes up, shoots him in the back of the head. She gets up, stands up, and then boom. And then she, I think she fell and was found in the water, right? Yeah. So he probably fell right next to the seat there. I wonder if you can see it. Oh, you could actually. It's right there. You can't see it right there, but I think that's right where the bench is. Let me see. Yeah. So there's the tree, and maybe 15 feet from the tree there. And that's the tree right there. I think that's the, like almost the shadows over the bench right there. So she would have, I mean, it's a little bit of a bank there. It would have been in the water right there, and he's probably slumped over right here.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Tom Gilson, the medical examiner of Cuyahoga County.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to release the causes of death for
this
the
is
two
back
individuals
when it happened,
that the
2 years
Chief mentioned. Ms. Brown died of a gunshot wound to the head, and Mr. Sledge died of gunshot wounds to the head. Both of the manners of death were homicide, and as the Chief said, and I can confirm, our preliminary investigation reveals nothing other than this looks like an isolated incident, and we would join the Metro Parks Rangers in offering our condolences to the Brown and Sledge family. Oh, I'm sorry.
And how would they have known that it would just be nobody there?
We will be releasing a paper notification of the causes of death later this morning.
Thank you again for joining us. We cannot release any further information at this time so as to not jeopardize the investigation. Cleveland Metro Parks will continue to provide updates as information becomes available.
Yeah, don't forget to join the channel if you're not a channel member yet.
Thank you all.
Alright, so that was on 6/24. And on September 4th, so 3 months after that.
I miss her so much.
Kim Brown, back at the place where her daughter was killed 3 months ago today. Where her daughter was killed 3 months ago today.
I wish we'd have answers. I just can't understand. I just can't understand how this could have happened.
Tuesday, June 4th, around 5:15 in the evening. 33-year-old Kate Brown and 40-year-old friend Carnell Sledge sitting on this park bench when they were shot in the heads. The killer vanished without a trace and has not been identified.
We have no idea who did it. We have just no idea. And that's upsetting. That's horribly upsetting because Kate and Carnell aren't here now as a result of this abrupt, violent act. I mean, and why?
Kim says she believes Metro Parks Police and the FBI are doing all they can as they actively investigate.
It does pose new difficulties, so with each passing day.
FBI
Thank you, One Sly Angel.
Special Agent Vicki Anderson says detectives want to hear from anyone who was in the park that day or who has heard anything that may help. She says it's still unclear if the killer knew the victims.
The people that were in their circles, you know, who were they talking to? Who did they last speak with? Their family, their friends, people online. We've run all those things. We continue to work those angles, but the stranger possibility still exists.
The Metro Park says police have upped patrols in the area. Kate's family putting up signs pleading for tips as they await answers.
This couldn't have happened.
Hey, Kim F. Sharp Harp, what does that even mean? That doesn't make any sense.
Totally in isolation. Somebody knows something. And I'm hoping somebody will step forward.
Yeah. But it's so weird that somebody just risked right in the middle of the day at a park where everybody drives by, just shooting and getting away with it. It's unbelievable. The killer disappeared without a trace. Alright. And then on 2020, February 3rd, I mean, what does that mean, dude? We're going down the valley. What does that mean? Hey, Sarah Beth, they got rid of the face masks on Streamlabs OBS. Just letting you know. I tried to. I was gonna do a show just for you to be able to do that, and boom. I don't know. I'm sure it was just right next to each other. That's why they. It'd be hard to shoot one and then with a rifle from a distance, and then quickly shoot the other one because they're gonna move as soon as they saw the first one. FBI is seeking information about a double homicide in the Rocky River Reservation. The Cleveland Division, this is an FBI website, fbi.gov right at the top here. All the links are in the description. Catherine Kate Brown, 33. Kate Brown's the name of our governor. She sucks, but different person. And, Catherine Kate Brown, 33, and Carnell Sledge, 40, were shot and killed shortly after 5 p.m. on June 4th, 2019. Thank you, Sarah Beth Colagrass. How dare they? I'm writing a strongly worded letter to stream that. Yeah, do it. Do it! While sitting on a park bench at the pull-off lot. The family of Kate Brown has contributed up to an additional $70,000 to the reward for information that leads to the successful identification and prosecution of the individual responsible. Numerous investigative leads and tips have been conducted, but none has resulted in identifying the person or persons responsible for the heinous act. And then 2 days later, there was an article about how the family increased the reward.
Well, it's a Metro Parks mystery. Police and family members still trying to figure out who killed Kate Brown and Carnell Sledge back on June 4th in the Rocky River Reservation. Now loved ones are helping to increase the reward for information to $100,000. Brandon Simmons updates us on the investigation.
It's been 8 months since...
I know, why isn't this one one of the bigger cases that people are talking about.
It's the murders.
I've never heard of it.
Kate Brown and Carnell Sledge in the Rocky River Reservation of the Cleveland Metro Parks. The memorial at that location remains fresh as family members continue to plead for help.
Our family's lives were changed forever the moment we were told our beloved Kate was brutally murdered.
Kate's sister, Alex Zubin,
spoke
alongside her father, Tom Brown, today as they announced an increase to the reward for information that helps solve this Metro Parks murder mystery.
As a family, we have raised an additional $70,000. This raises the total reward to $100,000 for information.
Metro Parks Rangers and the FBI acknowledge they don't have much to go on, but they remain relentless, promising to work the case as if it happened yesterday.
Law enforcement will not rest until Kate and Carnell's killer is brought to justice.
Meanwhile, Alex and Tom continue to praise the sister and daughter they miss so much.
Kate was my best friend. We talked every day.
I'm sure they've looked into
that.
Voicemails.
She was at the top of her game. She was enjoying life. She loved going down to the park. She would go down with her mom and play cards, sit on a blanket, and I can't believe we're standing here.
Anyone with information should call Crime Stoppers or Metro Parks Rangers, knowing they can help a family heal while remaining anonymous.
Now, the Metro Parks will likely put up billboards sometime this month to help keep this story top of mind for all of us throughout Northeast Ohio. Hard to believe it's been 8 months already, Sarah.
It really is, in such a high-profile case. Let's hope they get some answers. Thanks, Brandon.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess it's high profile there, but not anywhere else. And so this is from April 7th, 2021. So now we're into this year.
Well, it's been nearly 2 years since two friends, Kate Brown and Carnell Sledge, were shot to death sitting on a bench in the Metro Parks Rocky River Reservation. The crime remains unsolved and something Brown's family doesn't want the public to forget. As Mark Namick reports, their efforts to ask for help were shut down by the Metro Parks.
We have to come out here and do this again because the Metro Parks are unwilling to aid us.
Yeah, it's a
in
hit
this
regardless of
call
how
for help
it was.
to the public.
The signs were a fixture
Somebody
along the roadway for months
wanted at
after
least
the
one
murders.
dead.
First asking joggers, bikers, and drivers if they saw anything. Later, the signs highlighted the $100,000 reward, most of it from the family. The Metro Parks took the signs down last April.
These aren't signs for a 5-year-old's birthday party. These aren't signs for a graduation party. These are signs that are down here trying to stir up tips, maybe that one lead that would lead to getting this solved.
With leads gone cold and the anniversary of the murders approaching, the family printed new signs and placed them along the road last Tuesday. The Metro Parks immediately removed them.
I didn't receive a call. In fact, you're the one that told me. This is the only power my family has in this investigation. The only way we can help are little things like this.
They're making our parks look bad. Take them down, gee!
Yeah, you sound like the idiot in the Allison Watterson case. Remember the idiot that was taking down the signs? Well, this is more important, okay?
This can't go on. You just can't walk away and turn your cheek and pretend it's going to go away. Because let me tell you something, it's not going to go away. As long as we're still here, we're going to do everything we can to keep this in the public eye.
We all need the help of the public to reach the conclusion, and the conclusion is going to be someone talks about this, someone spoke about it in a bar, somebody talked or bragged about it to a buddy, and we need those people to come forward.
The family of Kate Brown hopes the Metro Parks will reconsider and allow them to put the signs back. They say it's about more than just reminding people what happened here, but about solving a crime and making the parks safer for everyone. I'm Mark Namick.
All right, then June 4th, just 4 days ago. Whoa!
Look again at police racing to the scene today. Someone shot and killed Carnell Sledge and Kate Brown. Look at the scene now. Police back at the Rocky River Reservation on the anniversary of the crime 2 years later. Still looking for...
All right, hold on. Let me open up one. There we go. I clicked on it 3 times.
Look again at police racing to the scene the day someone shot and killed Carnell
So that
Sledge
means
and
they're
Kate
dead on the
Brown.
ground right
Look
over
at the
there.
scene
It's
now.
crazy.
Police back at the Rocky River Reservation on the anniversary of the crime 2 years later. Still looking for tips to crack the case. We've shown you families of the victims can't understand no progress after 2 years.
No results whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. 2 years.
But there's more to it. I don't know what it is, but there's more to
Definitely
this.
more to it.
Why not give this case to an agency that has more staffing and resources and experience? And
See, the thing is it's hard to pin it on sort of a racial, racist, unless it was just the most random moment in time. Because they drove there separately, right? So it wouldn't be like some white person that was really angry that a black person's dating a white person. Because those people do exist. Yeah, they're not very common, but there are some out there, right? But they drove separately there, so it would have had to have been somebody who just happened to be driving by and he saw them sitting together. But that doesn't make any sense. I think it's more likely that it's very likely that it's somebody who was, had sort of a romantic interest perhaps in one of the two people. All right? That seems like, we don't have that personal touch where there's a bunch of stabbing, but it could have just been more like procedural. If I can't have her, none of you will, and boom, boom, something like that. Or if I can't have him, nobody's going to have him. All right? But the fact that I think he was shot first would sort of mean that the anger was directed towards him, and therefore he was probably the target, and so that would be a guy, because if it was a female, she would have shot her first because it was her taking him. The person that left them doesn't get the blame. It's kind of weird how that works, but works the same way and the other way around. So that's what it would seem like. There's a whole bunch of other sort of things that are possible. Like Mary Poppins was saying up there, maybe one of them maybe he had a life insurance policy and somebody wanted to cash in on that, but I don't know why you'd need that. Doesn't make any sense. He was single, so I'm not sure he would have a life insurance policy, and why would his parents, people that are single usually put their parents or a sibling as a life insurance beneficiary.
dealing with homicides. We took questions to the Metro Parks police chief. Her officers don't handle many violent felony crimes, but the chief says her officers are trained and they've worked closely with the FBI and state investigators on this case.
We've actually had over 100 tips in the last 2 years that we've vetted, and we've interviewed over 200 people.
But is there anything specifically you can tell people that we've ruled out this, or we've determined it was likely that, anything like that?
Unfortunately, Ed, no. Everything is still open, and we can't really say it's one way or the other, or it's random or it was targeted.
Now you might be thinking, come on, 2 years after the crime, can police really expect good tips now? Well, last weekend, we showed you the family of Kate Brown put up signs like these asking for tips, and since these went up, Crime Stoppers did get new information, a possible new lead to investigate.
And just to let you guys know, I try to be open on here. Like right now, this month right now, we're way behind last month. And then tonight we're like at 60% of a normal night. So we're just kind of, I don't know what made this month different than last month, but it's not, it's different for some reason. Maybe it was the trial. Was that trial that interesting?
FBI also just put up billboards, reminders of a $100,000 reward for tips. The billboards have also sparked new calls. Crime Stoppers made an appeal to the killer.
Turn yourself in. Go to your lawyer. Go to the police department. Turn yourself in.
Oh, great advice. You know what?
The families hope someone.
You're right. I'm going to turn myself
up.
in. I mean, would somebody literally be saying that right then? Right after he says that, yeah, go ahead and turn yourself in. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Bear to think about a third anniversary at the park. looking like this one.
There's
Every
the bench
face
right
I
back
see,
there.
I think to myself, it could be
I tried getting a hold of both of these people today, and that just cut off their audio right there. Yeah, look at Streamlabs. You gotta slow down, Streamlabs. I gotta fix that.
Ed Gallick, Fox 8, I-Team.
All right. I think it must have been the trial. Yeah, maybe. Was it? Maybe it was the earlier day. Maybe
Well,
I'll
today
try
marks
that.
1 year since 2 people were murdered in the Rocky River Reservation as police continue to search for the gunman. Carnell Sledge and Catherine Brown were found shot to death near the Lorraine Road Bridge. So far, police have no suspects
That's
in the
from the
killings.
4th also.
The Brown family plans to put up new signs in the Metro Parks this morning with new reward information that leads to an arrest.
I really didn't want to come down here today, not on the day that this happened 2 years ago. It's painful.
With heavy hearts, family and friends gather for a vigil near the bench where Kate Brown and Carnell Sledge were gunned down in broad daylight.
It's very tough to come here at this time of year.
It's painful that this has gone on for so long, that there's no clues, there's not much to go on.
Except their unwavering determination, using the 2nd anniversary to plead with the public again for help catching the killer.
There's no doubt in my mind there are people that know who did this.
Yeah, somebody has to know something.
Well, of course.
Because it happened on a night just like this, warm and sunny around 5 o'clock.
There were a lot of people in the park that day.
Here along Busy Valley Parkway in the Rocky River Reservation.
I know people are walking their dogs, they're here with their kids, they're going canoeing and going kayaking.
I mean, didn't anybody hear
bikers,
the
everybody's here.
sound,
So somebody
see
saw.
a car?
No tip, no information is
Weird.
too small.
Tipsters can remain anonymous and receive a $100,000 reward, while giving loved ones something priceless.
And it's just heartbreaking not having any closure whatsoever. It makes it really hard to heal and move on.
We can close this or get a handle on
Well, it's
making
obvious
an arrest
somebody knows something.
and
There's a
getting
killer
this
that's
put
missing.
behind us.
And finally be able to focus on how Kate and Carnell lived, not how they died.
Sledge's Helping Hands is a foundation that Carnell Sledge started himself, and his
Yeah, he
goal was
started
to
a
help kids,
foundation.
local kids, and their families.
It sounds like a
He was
really
that kind of
good
guy that just
guy.
wanted to help.
She was really funny. She was unbelievably kind.
Seemed like they would have
very
made a good match,
sensitive.
actually.
She was just a love.
Meet us here every year. We'll keep coming back. We cannot lose sight of what matters, and we need justice.
Why does it just die, the audio like that? Alright. And that's the FBI page. Carnell Sledge and Catherine Brown. It's her and him. Yeah. Driver's license pictures. They're offering $25,000, the FBI. They were shot in the head while sitting on a bench alongside
Well, it's
the
a
river.
Metro Parks mystery. Police and family members still trying to figure.
Sledge was 40 and she was 33. All right, I'm just going to do one more story. Let's see, we've got Carolyn Adams. This one was one I found on the another Ohio case. Found it on their website. Just a random case that nobody will ever be talking about. But what's weird is people should have been. It should have been a pretty big one. It was in the paper. And I'm actually going to do it in order, even though the paper sort of had it differently. It's strange how it all unfolded in the paper. All right. Police who are investigating the disappearance of a 4-year-old girl as a kidnapping says they've talked to hundreds of residents in the West Side neighborhood but didn't come up with any clues. Police said Wednesday that the girl was abducted from her bedroom on Monday. Hold on, I've got these all. And believe it or not, this isn't the person that we're talking about. It's Carolyn Adams. But this is where they lived right here. That's 30 something. I think it might be 3591. That didn't look like that. Almost seems like it's on the other side of the street. That says 391. Huh. No, it's 390 South Gill. I was right. It was over here. Alright, so that house right there, okay. Police said Wednesday the girl was abducted from her bedroom on Monday. Captain James Foley of the Police Juvenile Bureau said 6 officers had been assigned to the case of Amanda Sue Adams, and so that's the daughter of the girl that we're going to be talking about, had conducted 3 separate searches for the child. On Wednesday, more than 50 police officers questioned residents in a square-mile area of the neighborhood. Police also requested assistance from the public in locating the girl, whom they described as 3 foot 6 inches tall, weighing 48 pounds. Police said the child was last seen about 2 a.m. Monday, asleep in her bedroom. Amanda was not reported missing until mid-afternoon Monday because relatives mistakenly believed she was with other family members. Police who searched the child's residence said the rear door to the house was apparently unlocked. The child's bedroom is at the rear of the 2-story house, just a few feet from the back door. Carolyn Sue Adams, 20, see that's Carolyn Sue Adams, 20, the child's mother, does not believe the girl walked away and fears she was taken. She said she has no idea who it might be, but appealed, please bring her back. Police said they found dried mud on the floor near the back door and leading to the bedroom that the officers were checking to see if it was left by someone who abducted Amanda. Mrs. Adams said Amanda has blue eyes and brownish hair and was wearing blue shorts and a white shirt with the word hot stuff in red letters when she was last seen. That's a different story right there. Okay, so we got that, and then the following day, police continued their search Thursday for a 4-year-old girl who they believed was kidnapped from her West Side home earlier this week. On Wednesday, more than 50 police officers questioned residents in a square-mile area of the neighborhood where Amanda Sue Adams disappeared Monday. Police also requested assistance from the public in locating the girl, whom they described as 3 foot 6 inches tall, weighing 48 pounds. Police said the child was last seen about 2 a.m. Monday, asleep in her bedroom. Amanda was not reported missing until mid-afternoon Monday because relatives mistakenly believed she was with other family members. Carolyn Sue Adams, 20, the child's mother, said Amanda has blue eyes, brownish hair, and was wearing blue shorts and a white shirt with the words hot stuff in red letters. Okay. And then on the 5th, police continued their search Thursday for a 4-year-old girl who they believed was kidnapped. On Wednesday, more than 50 police officers questioned residents in a square-mile area. Police also requested assistance from the public in locating the girl, where they described as 3 foot 6 inches tall, weighing 48 pounds. Yeah, so that's kind of a repeat there. And on the 6th, homicide detectives are investigating the death of a 4-year-old girl who was reported missing on June 30th. The body of Amanda Sue Adams was discovered in an area of heavy brush in an alley. Let's see. What happened there? Just sort of shifted off of what I was looking at. Heavy brush in an alley not far from her home on the west side of Columbus. Shortly after noon, Columbus Police Detective Gary Roundtree said officials will not reveal the cause of the girl's death because it would be detrimental to the investigation. The girl's partially decomposed body was clad in clothing she was wearing the day she disappeared, according to a statement released by police Sunday. Thank you, Zozo. I don't know. Thanks for the effort. Let's see. The girl's partially decomposed body was clad in clothing she was wearing the day she disappeared, according to statements released by police Sunday. Well, thank you, Zozo and Lee D, the Aussies. All right. So that was something that that information about the daughter came about after looking into Carolyn Adams' death. So that's her daughter that they just found dead, right? The 4-year-old? Well, here's the thing, everybody. Know that, we've donated a lot of money to charities, and you guys are the ones that make it so that we're donating a lot of money to charity. You're also making it so that I have money to do my show and make it worthwhile to spend I could see it sort of raining like after a while. So I'm sort of, because buffering, but now it is. Okay, how about now? It looks like it's not buffering for 4 seconds. But you notice how now there's 71 people when there was 150 right before that? You guys can hear me, right? Now? Everything's good? I want to get through this one. It's crazy. Okay. All right, so here, look how crazy this is. A Columbus woman whose 4-year-old daughter was abducted and killed less than 3 weeks ago has been found murdered. The body of Carolyn Adams, 20, was found in a creek southwest of Columbus Wednesday, just 10 days after the body of her daughter, Amanda Adams, 4, was discovered in bushes near their home on the city west side, Franklin County. I wonder where the alley is that they're talking about. So she was found in some kind of a... I don't know, maybe back in... I don't know what the alley is. They aren't really specific about that, but... Both victims apparently had been strangled. So the 4-year-old and her were both strangled. Deputies said there were 3 suspects in the woman's slaying, including her former boyfriend. No charges were immediately filed. A boy walking along the creek found the woman's fully clothed body under a bridge at 1:30. Okay, well, her body was found... I actually was never able to find the bridge based on their description, but she was actually out at a bar that was located right here at one point. And she lived here, but she was at a bar that night. But let's get to the... A boy walking along the creek found the woman's fully clothed body under a bridge about 1:30 p.m. It looks like she was beaten and dumped from the bridge. Smith said his detectives have some physical evidence against one of the suspects. He said all 3 are under suspicion because of statements from witnesses at a West Side tavern where the woman was last seen alive at 11 p.m. Tuesday. One of the suspects, Brad Gavin of nearby Grove City, is scheduled to be arraigned in Franklin County, something like Pleas Court Friday, on 3 charges of gross sexual imposition. He is charged with assaulting 2 of Amanda's sisters and a neighbor. Wow, that's crazy. 2 of Amanda's sisters. That's the 4-year-old that died. 2 of her sisters, and a neighbor girl last February. Amanda Adams was abducted from a bedroom in her home on June 30th. Her body was found 6 days later behind a wood pile in bushes near her home. Carolyn Adams, stepmother Sandy Adams, said her stepdaughter was distraught over Amanda's death. Sandy Adams said that about 3 days ago, Carolyn Adams had a relative tattoo the name Amanda Sue on the back of her left shoulder. Isn't this crazy? The man suspected of strangling a 20-year-old woman and her 4-year-old daughter in separate killings wrote a note ending with "Praise the Lord" and killed himself, authorities say. Franklin County Sheriff Earl Smith said Brad Gavin, this is the same person that molested the 2 friends, I guess, or the sisters. Brad Gavin, 25, shot himself in the mouth in a field near his suburban Grove City home Thursday afternoon, a day after the body of his ex-girlfriend, Carolyn Adams, was found under a bridge, and 12 days after her 4-year-old daughter was found dead. Gavin was scheduled to appear in court today on charges of molesting 2 daughters of Mrs. Adams' stepmother, and another girl. Let's see. Today on charges of molesting 2 daughters of Mrs. Adams' stepmother. The body of Miss Adams, 20, was found in a remote part of Franklin County Wednesday afternoon. She had encountered Gavin in a tavern the evening before, witnesses said. So this, this case is still open, but this guy did. No doubt about it. Miss Adams' daughter, Amanda, disappeared June 30th from the 3-bedroom house where she lived with Miss Adams, her step-grandmother, 7 other adults, and 5 other children. Wow. Amanda's body was found June 6th in some bushes about 100 yards from the house on the west side of Columbus. So let's do do a circle with yards right at the house. Okay, so let's just say that that's the area here. So you kind of wonder if it's in this, like here, somewhere right around in there. Like maybe that's the alley they're talking about. I wouldn't doubt that at all now that I look at it. Right on the edge of that 100, about 100 yards. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I would bet money that that's the alley Like right down at the end of that. And that's the only thing that actually sort of looks like an alley. I guess maybe here, but that's right across the street. That'd be kind of dumb. That looks like an alley right there. Because the main road would be out here and here. So you notice the... so this is the road that the addresses of these homes would be associated with because of the steps that lead to them. This is an alley going back behind these homes where none of these even have, you know, I guess that is, but that's too close to the house and it's way less than 100 yards. This, however, is right on the edge, probably like 125 yards. And it said around 100 yards. Let's see. Schedules appear in court. Smith said he is convinced that Gavin killed the mother and the daughter, but said he could not cite definitive evidence. Gavin's body was found about 50 yards from the house where he lived with his parents after his father and a lawyer heard a shot. Well, I actually have his house as well, so should be able to figure this out. See what you get on this channel? Cases you've never heard about. There's almost no chance you would have heard about this one. Oh, I did, Gray. I remember. Okay. Let's see. So Bradley Gavin, he lived right over here. And they said a field. They said 50 yards. Yeah, so if that's their house, I'm sure it's back here. Something like that. Why would you go in somebody else's yard? He probably just walked back out there. He said, oh, the jig is up. Boom, blows his brains out right back here. Gavin was found with the note between his legs, and the note said, "Praise the Lord." Smith said he declined to make the note available to the news media, but said it indicated that he wanted to be with Amanda and Miss Adams, and ended with the drawing of a pair of hands and the words, "Praise the Lord." Sandra Adams, the stepmother of Carolyn Adams, said Carolyn had been dating Gavin for about 5 years, but that the couple recently split up. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, like, what, you know, they didn't seem like they were together. She characterized Gavin as a generally shy, insecure man who was given to fits of violence, apparently motivated by drinking and barbiturate abuse. But he also molested 2 of the sisters, right? I saw him stand in the middle of the living room and start jumping up and down over and over while screaming, she said. Sounds like something else. Another time he took a glass of bottle and smashed Carolyn in the face. She loved him and hated him, she said, adding that Carolyn was self-conscious about burn scars from an automobile explosion. Amanda, that's brutal. Amanda was Carolyn Adams' only child. The father is an inmate of the Lima State Hospital and was convicted of drug-related charges. So that's just whole bad situation here. Franklin County juvenile court records show an order was issued in April for Amanda to be removed from the house because of suspected sexual abuse by Gavin. Oh, so I mean, everything was just crumbling down because Gavin's a whack job, right? She was returned a day later after Miss Adams said she had broken off her relationship with Gavin. So basically, Gavin created a situation where CPS had to take the child from the home, but the child was given back to Mrs. Adams because she said they now were broken up. So now he has the sexual abuse charge and they broke up, and those are the stressors where he just wigged out. And it's interesting too because he killed Amanda. Let's see. He must have killed the girl so she wouldn't say anything, hoping that somehow she would be back together because there's no proof he did anything. And then when that wasn't working, he decided he was going to kill her instead. As well, I mean. And then he killed himself. Amanda was Carolyn Adams' only child. The father is an inmate at Lima State Hospital. Franklin County juvenile court records show an order was issued in April for Amanda to be removed from the house because of suspected sexual abuse from Gavin. She was returned a day later after Miss Adams, and that was in April. Miss Adams said she had broken off her relationship with Gavin. The 5 other children who lived in the house were removed by court order earlier this month because of unsanitary conditions. So really just kind of a nightmare situation. And here's another one. The man suspected of strangling. I just want to make sure it's not exactly the same. Let me see. Strangling, and then this next one, Franklin County Sheriff, the body of, let's see, Franklin County Sheriff, the body of, okay, it's the same story. Looked like a different article, but. Okay, and this is July 19th. The Franklin County Sheriff said Friday his department has not closed the books on its investigation of the strangling of a 20-year-old woman despite the apparent suicide of the prime suspect in the case. Franklin County Sheriff Earl Smith said Brad Gavin, 25, shot himself in the mouth in a field near his suburban Grove City home Thursday afternoon, a day after the body of his ex-girlfriend Carolyn Adams was found under a bridge, and just 12 days after her 4-year-old daughter was found dead, both strangled, I'll add. Gavin was scheduled to appear in court Friday on charges of molesting 2 daughters of Mrs. Adams' stepmother. Okay, now it's kind of making sense. While Smith said detectives plan to complete the investigation of Miss Adams' death pretty shortly, he said the investigation continued. The death of Amanda Adams is being investigated by Columbus police, who considered Gavin a prime suspect but also have not closed the case. And this is 1986, by the way. Hey, thanks, Mag. Just popping in to say hi. Hope you're all doing well. Love the Gray and the Freaks. Well, thank you very much, Mag. Really appreciate it. I wonder why it's so weird. I mean, this is 1986 and it's still open right now. Just close it, man. You know who did it. It almost makes you wonder if they had some little pieces of evidence that made them not sure, because this is about as clear circumstantial evidence. I think if you had just this for a court case, you could easily win. I mean, it's just obvious. And over here it said, Smith said he's convinced Gavin killed the mother and the daughter, but he could not cite definitive evidence. Gavin was found dead with a note between his legs, Smith said, but the sheriff declined to make the note available to the news media. He said it indicated Gavin wanted to be with Amanda. So you could make the argument that he killed himself because she got killed. Wanted to be with Amanda. Oh, wow, that's creepy. I kind of didn't even, that just sort of blew through my mind a minute ago. He wanted to be with Amanda. Amanda's the little girl. He said it indicated Gavin wanted to be with Amanda and Miss Adams. Oh, and Miss Adams. Okay, but it said the other one, didn't it just say Amanda? Amanda and Miss Adams. Right, but you killed both of them. I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense. And ended with the drawing of a pair of hands and the words, "Praise the Lord." Thank you, believe angel. Now, he does say Amanda and Miss Adams. It would have been better if it was worded the reverse of that for him. You know, like he wanted to be with Miss Adams and her daughter, Amanda. You know, like, but it's like, I think the wording in this article was intended to sort of point that out a little bit, or the way he worded it. Because it would have been less creepy sounding if it had said, the note indicated Gavin wanted to be with Miss Adams and her daughter, Amanda. Right? Like a family. But instead it starts off with Amanda, and then, you know. Adams, and ended with the he had a drawing of a pair of hands and the words, "Praise the Lord." Yeah. Okay. And we're on the 20th. Now, some of this stuff I was interested to read just based on the title. In the wake of a grandmother's allegations that Columbus police ignored pleas for the police protection of her slain daughter, a police official said 24-hour surveillance of the suspect would have just cost too much. Sandra Adams, stepmother of Carolyn Adams and grandmother of 4-year-old Amanda Adams, said she begged police to protect her family. Amanda was kidnapped June 30th and her body found a week later 100 yards from her house. On Wednesday, Carolyn Adams' body was found dead. Yeah, well, most bodies that are found are dead, right? I mean, that's one of those dumb... Yeah, just say her body was found. Franklin County Sheriff's Early Smith. Nobody ever says, "Hey, I found a body yesterday." And then they say, "Well, were they alive?" "Oh, yeah, they were just having a Coke and a Snickers bar." You know, that never happens. You don't say that. Oh, you would say you ran into a person. Anytime you hear the phrase, "a body found," it's always somebody not alive, right? A former boyfriend of Carolyn Adams beat and strangled her. Wait, hold on. On Wednesday, Carolyn Adams' body was found dead. Franklin County Sheriff Earl Smith said Bradley Gavin, a former boyfriend of Carolyn Adams, beat and strangled her. So he's saying that he did do that. Thank you, Muse. Police said Gavin was a suspect in Amanda's killing also. A day later, Gavin killed himself. Columbus police didn't take us seriously because we're poor. I can totally buy into that. They think we're dirt, said Sandra Adams. Police Captain Anton Lanata said Friday that surveillance of Gavin initially ended because police had no reason to believe anyone else would be murdered after Amanda's body was found. So they think that she was killed to keep her silent. Gavin had been watched by 3 or 4 police officers for 5 days until July 6th. And that's actually when Amanda's body was found. It cost about $6,000 in overtime pay for the city. God, you know, the fact that they're bringing up stuff like that is kind of ridiculous, right? The cost of 24-hour surveillance is just outrageous. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, how long would you continue to how long would you do it for? You know. Smith said Carolyn Adams was killed after. See, here's what happened is this Gavin guy went to that bar where she was at and tried to get her to come back with him. And she might have even accused him of killing the daughter because they were having drinks, and then he couldn't have that either. Huh? What do you mean you ran into a buddy at a park? What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Ran into a buddy at a park, we had lunch. What does that mean? Is that the earlier story we were talking about? Now I have to go back up and read to try to figure out what anybody's even talking about. Gavin was... Okay, let's see. Smith said Carolyn Adams was killed after surveillance of Gavin ended. Columbus undercover officers resumed their watch of Gavin after the body of the 20-year-old woman was found under a bridge. He was being watched when he shot himself in the mouth. He was being watched when he shot himself. Gavin after... He was being watched when he shot himself in the mouth. So maybe he noticed that they were doing that, I guess. Gavin was scheduled to appear in court Friday on charges of gross sexual imposition involving two girls who lived in the same house the Adams lived in. According to a story in the Columbus Dispatch Saturday, police never asked other law enforcement agencies to provide dogs in the search for Amanda, unlike in many abduction cases. I don't know why the dogs weren't called. Yeah, see, they didn't want to spend any money at all on this family, because they just, you know, like, I actually, when I was reading part of it earlier, I thought to myself, God, I bet you it's just some sort of like if it was in a rich neighborhood, same scenario, but you know, quote, upstanding citizens, they would have been all over it. And it's probably why you don't know about this story, because this is a pretty crazy story. In the wake of grandmother's allegations, I think that might be almost the exact same. Let me see. Yeah, it's the same story. Then we got another one on the 22nd. Mother buried next to daughter. The family of Carolyn Sue Adams, 20, was buried her next to the site where her 4-year-old daughter was buried. See, I actually saw this first. And I was like, what do you mean her daughter died 4 weeks ago? And then I went back and found the articles related to the daughter, because I was just looking up the case of Carolyn Adams. And then when I found this one, saying that she was buried next to her daughter, my mind was blown. Adams was found beaten and strangled under a bridge here last week, just 2 weeks after the body of her abducted daughter Amanda was found in brush near the Adams home. Police consider both killings unsolved, although they have said they believe Adams' ex-boyfriend Bradley Gavin, 25, is a prime suspect in the slayings. Gavin committed suicide on Thursday and was to be buried today. Amanda, your mommy is coming for you, said a tearful relative at funeral services for Amanda. Now, on another website, I found an obituary, and it's a little bit longer, but I had to cut and paste it. Carolyn Sue Adams, 20, was buried yesterday in the same cemetery where she had buried her slain daughter Amanda 4 less than 2 weeks ago. Amanda Your mommy is coming for you, a tearful relative whispered as she stood before the side-by-side graves in Greenlawn Cemetery during the final blessing. Amanda was abducted from her home at 390, this is where I got the addresses, 390 South Guilford Avenue on June 30th, and her body was found behind a nearby woodpile July 6th. Last Wednesday, the beaten and strangled body of her mother was found under a bridge on Brown Road. See, the thing is, I found Brown Road, it's right here. But my only thing is there was no bridge on it. So that made it kind of difficult. You know, so that's Brown Road, but never did find a bridge. It's possible that over time it changed to, you know, redirected the roads. And both killings are officially considered unsolved. However, police and Sheriff Earl O. Smith believe the two were killed by Carolyn's former boyfriend, Bradley Gavin, who lived with his parents at 2450 Chateau Street. Gavin committed suicide Thursday. His funeral is today. The Reverend John Pearson of the Bright and Morning Star Church said at the service, "We know not the reason for the slayings. Police, too, have groped for a motive." What do you mean, grope for a motive? God, how do you struggle with a motive on this one? It's so obvious. It's a horrid thing as we see her lying here. Just a few days ago, she was here at the same place looking upon her little daughter. We know that the little 4-year-old had no sin upon her, Pearson said. During the service, 2 men and 2 women sang Amazing Grace. Jesus loves me, and safe in the arms of Jesus at the family's request. Pearson said of Adams, "I saw her on television a few days ago, and she said even the police were acting like it was her fault over her little daughter. I can imagine in my own mind and my own heart the torment that this young woman went through." Pearson said God does not look at the outer appearance, but rather at a person's heart. That's what Martin Luther King said too. None of us can judge or condemn this woman, he said. Before leaving the funeral home, family members gathered around the open white casket to say their final farewells. Adams' father and stepmother, Thomas and Sandra Adams, hugged their children and cried. Thomas Adams shook his head as he walked away after the service. He said he is still struggling with the tragedy. "I want to know why," he said. "I want to know how. I need some answers." Yeah, it just seems really obvious. You know, he got into the house. He probably had a key still from when he lived there, or when they were together, and he went in and the door was unlocked. He abducted the kid after the allegations came out. He abducted Amanda, then he killed her to keep her silent. Then, but the daughter Amanda was only allowed to come back to the home after after the allegation, because she said she's not going to see him anymore. So then the CPS was like, okay, great. And so in his mind, he thought, well, if I kill her, there won't be any witness to it. And then he wants to be with her, Carolyn again. So he meets her at that bar, or just shows up there. She probably didn't know he was coming. And they argued and fought, and she probably even said, "You're the one that killed my daughter," and they were drunk, and then he just said, "Screw this." And I don't know how he got her out of there, but he may have even tried to convince her for some reason to get into his car or whatever, but he drove her, beat her up, threw her off the bridge, and then he went home, couple days later, just said, screw it. Right? I mean, the motive is pretty obvious, right? He was trying to cover up, one, and then two, he wasn't going to get to have Carolyn or Amanda in his life anymore. And that was just enough for him. So he took his life. It's really clear, really obvious, right? I wonder what this... Yeah, the suicide note might be why they're kind of not sure. Because he probably wrote it in a way that made it seem like he was so grieved over the death of his girlfriend and the girlfriend's daughter that he just couldn't live anymore, and he shot himself with no admission in there that he had anything to do with it. And so this is all there is on the Ohio website. So you look at the difference, how much information I got when that's her right there, by the way, Carolyn. That's on the thumbnail. And all they had was 20-year-old Carolyn Adams was last seen at Wayne's Bar at 801 West Broad Street at 2 a.m. The victim was, and that was on July 16th. The victim was found later that same day at 8:09 p.m. under a bridge on Brown Road at Big Run Creek. Oh boy, thank you for all the information. Thank you. I mean, man, there is so much more to it, you know, way more to it. She's 5'3", 105 pounds, really small. You know, it's kind of sad that she's over at a bar at 2 a.m. literally just 10 days after her daughter was murdered. I mean, I think, you know, it just shows that the kind of lifestyle and just sort of just struggling. Not good. I think most parents would just be stuck in their room staring at a wall for weeks. But, you know, that was probably a vice that she needed, you know, to go out and drink. And so she went out and drank, and at that time, that's when the ex-boyfriend got in there and killed her. Anyways, that is it, you guys. Crazy night, right? A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Yep, no problem. Maybe later in the month we'll catch up. But either way, we've got a good start on all the donations. And by the way, this month here, almost every nickel is the taxes that I have to pay. I've told you guys that before. It really sucks. It's like I work for a whole month, but then I send it all in because you have to do estimated. But we still donate the same money, that percentage regardless. Well, he didn't molest. What do you mean looks like? What do you mean looks like he would? What does that mean? I think he was more interested in the one he assaulted. Interesting cases. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it sucks to actually have a business where you have to pay estimated. It sucks. All right, so we've got Rita Schaefer, Zozo, Lee D, Norweeg. Thank you, Muse. Kentucky Church Guy. Well, let me just say this. I do pay the taxes, but the percentage that I donate is exactly the same. It's just I have to save up from the other 2 months where, you know, it doesn't make a difference. Thank you, Muse. All right, so then it was Norweeg, Kentucky Church Guy, Muse, Pink Lady Luck, Kit Kat, Juju Positive, Dana Dane, Cairo, Michelle Nicholas, Plato, Lanky Tor, Baby Brown Bear. She's trying to get her name long. Oh yeah, and by the way, let's see, Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal. I wanted to say hello to everybody. She's busy. Let's see. Then Catherine B, Tawanda, Swerbs, Susie Heath, One Sly Angel, Sarah Beth Coligras, Zozo, Lee D, Believe Angel, Sarah Smile, Mary Poppins, Mag, Believe Angel, and Muse. Right at the end there. Huh? What do you mean, do we get the song soon? What does that mean? I don't get it. Nah, it's been kind of like that for a while. This entire month. Alright. So, alright everybody, thank you very much for the, you know, hanging out, chilling, never illin'. I hope you guys thought those are all pretty interesting. You know, we had the new one in Belize, kind of a weird story there with the gunshot wound to the back of the head of the officer by a young, sort of socialite, rich lady. The crazy one where an individual in a sort of a wedding party, you know, bachelor party at a Taco Bell, somebody throws something in one of the other cars, and the person in the other car comes back, shatters the window, has a knife, and kills one person, almost kills another, and injures another person. And then we have another one where there's two friends that are, who knows if they're dating or not. They're sitting on a park bench, wide open, where anybody could be going by, and they both get shot in the back of the head. And there's no leads, apparently. Yeah, tons and tons of different stuff. All right, everybody. So thank you guys very much, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Well, maybe we'll have different subjects, I'm sure. All right, everybody. See you guys tomorrow, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre with all respect. Just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
sector, tick rejector, I'm a certified MMI detector. Gonna catch ya, on a stretcher, even try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar, Professor Green's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, reconnector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Bullet reflector, interceptor. You don't need a little structure with a vector, on this vector with a spectrum. Something got a hold of me tightly, flows like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop, y'all? I don't know. Turn off the lights, then I'll glow to the extreme. I rock the mic like a vandal, light up the stage and want to jump like a candle. Dance, where's the speakers that boom, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom, deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best of the felony. Love, live, better gain weight, better hit bulls out of kick don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook on my DJ Revolve It. Jumping with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping. Quick to the point, cause the point no faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon. Burning them, yeah, quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear the tempo. I'm out in my 5.0 with my red hair can blow. Oh, just drove down, kept on. If I'm headed with an affinity to A1A. Big trucks and bikinis, rockin' the Lamborghinis, mounted my shade with a gator hills falling. The bumper, average wanna see you. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook where my DJ Revolve It. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Are people buffering? Gee. With a double E. I said I go by the unforgettable name of the man I call a Master G. Well, my name is known all over the world by all the foxy ladies, pretty girls, going down in history as the baddest brother that ever could be. Now I'm feeling the highs and I'm feeling the lows. Beat starts getting into your toes. You start popping your fingers and stepping your feet and moving your body while you're sitting on your seat. Said damn, stop doing the freak. I said damn, I ride it out of your seat. Then you throw your hands high in the air. You're rocking to the beat from the derriere. Rocking to the beat without a care. With the short side MCs for the affair. Now I'm not as tall as the rest of the gang. Rap to the beat just the same. Got a little face and a pair of brown eyes. All I credit to the ladies is hypnotized. Singing on and on and on and on. The beat don't stop until the break of dawn. I said an on and on and on and on. Like a hot diddy pop, diddy pop, diddy pop, diddy diddy pop, diddy pop, pop. You don't dare stop or come alive, yo. Give me what you got, cause I'm guaranteed to make you rock. Said 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me Wonder Mike, what are you waiting for?
Hey, alright, Mary Lou.
Wait, John Boy? You're still around?
Yeah, I just don't say much anymore, because you're so mean to me.
Ah, poor John Boy.
Oh, boy.
told a little story, the son of what rehearsed. Ford is in my run and then he's on got first. Bill was on my hand, he was on my tip. He told a little story, right? He doesn't go sip. He's acting like a son, said he could get none. Had it just a run, pulled a shotgun. Quick on the draw, thought I'd be dead. Put the gun through my head and this is what it said. The name is MG, and I got a license to kill. Hope you know what time it is, it's time to get you. Now what do we have here? And alcohol is beer. I'll run the windows and I'll make myself clear. Hey, let me try that again, You wanna do it too, John boy?
Okay, yeah.
He told a little story, the son of what rehearsed. 4 days on the run and then he's dying of thirst. Bird was in my hand, he was on my tip. His horse is always right, he asked me for a sip. Second I got some, can you get a none? Had it just a run, pulled a shotgun. Quick on the draw, I thought I'd be dead. He put the gun to my head and this is what he said.
My name is MCA, I got a license to kill. Hope you know what time it is, it's time to get ill. Now what do we have here? An outlaw is beer. A run is slide, you make me.
Here comes the tomatoes. Here comes the tomatoes. Quick on the draw, I thought I'd be dead. He put the gun to my head and this is what he said. My name is MCA, I got a license to kill. Hope you know what time it is, it's time to get ill. Now what do we have here? An outlaw is beer. I run this landy windows and I make myself clear.
Oh, I can see it. Hey, thanks, Holly.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's how Zozos said it. Remember that? Thank you. Thank you. Remember that? Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm trying to turn off my bots. I got to fix those bots. They're driving me nuts. Anyways, thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And be safe out there.